It is very, very competitive, and usually the way to win at Google ads or Facebook ads is spending the most money, because hey guys, this is Ricardo, and this is the journey from 0 to 1 million and beyond, where I take my personal experiences and my life lessons throughout the business world and share them with you guys. So today we'll be talking about print marketing. Here we have some door hangers that we're doing for our marketing campaign. If you see, these are just very simple. They have the service, a description of the service, the price already here, as well as for the mowing, the weekly and bi-weekly price. And then all you gotta do is just put the name, address, and phone number in the back. Send us a picture. All the primary information is there. And this just makes it a very simple quote, so that way we don't have to come back, because we're already here. So why would we have to come back, And we make all of these kind of average price because all the houses around here are basically the same size. So it makes it easier. So all we gotta do is just go to the door and just put it on.
Look at this dude. You stupid.
And just like that, now we just gotta do these a couple hundred more times. So you might be asking, why print marketing and why even bother doing this when you can just, do it online, or maybe get an EDDM campaign, which is a read or direct mail through USPS. Well, folks, let me tell you something about today's online marketing. It is very, very competitive, and usually the way to win at Google ads or Facebook ads is spending the most money, because the Google machine loves when you spend money, and will show you the more you spend money. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to make money on those ad spends, though. So print marketing has always been proven to work, especially in the home services industry. So that's what we're doing now. Apart from this, like I said before, we're doing EDDM with the USPS. If you want to find out more information about that, first sure you just type in USPS.com/EDDM, and it'll show you charts of different households and different income areas and stuff like that. And it gets very, very, very filtered out. So, yeah, that's what we're doing now. And apart from that, hey guys, we're back. Right now we're driving in DC, and I know in the last clip that you guys saw, we talked a little bit about print marketing and how it's kind of like what we're doing right now. Towards marketing, we're investing a lot of money into it, and I talked briefly about why we choose that over online marketing being ad spend, whether that's with Google or Facebook or any other platform. And I didn't really touch on the reason why, I just kind of briefed it, but I want to go into a little more detail with it. The thing about Google and Facebook ads, when you're starting out, this only applies when you're starting out, not when you're obviously stable and kind of in that $500,000 a year plus. When you're starting out, the amount of money that it takes to be relevant in the online space is a lot. So you're either going to have a large cash amount stashed away just for this, or you're going to have the best brand in the world. Because if you don't have either of those, you're going to spend a lot of time and a lot of money trying to become relevant, right? Because what I've learned is that the Google machine kind of works on the amount of time that you've been on the actual online space, amount of money that you spend, the reviews that you get, all the customer interaction within your business. And at starting out, you're not going to have that many customer interactions, right? So, you're, as the years go by, you build it up, and then you start to become relevant after like year 2 or 3, right? That's when your ad spend starts compounding, starts turning into, from leads to customers, from potential customers to actual paying customers, right? So that's kind of the process. Print marketing, from my experience, kind of just bypasses all of that and gets you straight into the customer's home, right? Because it's physical marketing, whether it's your door hangers, whether it's your postcards, whether it's even business cards, things like that are directly given to the customer. All of these requirements are needed in order for your ad spend to be relevant and to be produced. I would say when you reach the $250,000 a year mark, that's when it might start to make sense And even then, you should have maybe like 100 or so reviews online. You should be known in your local market. You need your brand to be consistent among all the other things that we've talked about before. Now, if you're in a market or if you're in a business where it's like seasonal, customers just kind of die down a little bit depending on either weather or just demand, what I would recommend and what I've seen so far, they lower their ad expense so low where it's just like whoever just wants to see if they can get any business on those off days, they kind of just stay it on. And whoever doesn't have the money or whoever is booked up, it erases all of that completely, right? That's kind of my take on it. It really just depends on what position you're in. If you're just starting out, please do not spend your time and your money on figuring out the ad machine. Just start out with the print marketing and figure that out, because that will get you the most quality clients and the most consistent amount of clients per dollar spent. We've seen this over and over these past seasons, and you're directly targeting them, right? Because you're choosing the neighborhoods, you're choosing the location, you're choosing the zip codes, so you know who you're targeting, and you know if they're quality or not. So it's just easier and faster for us. Now, depending on the industry, this might vary, obviously. But in the home services industry, it's a pretty lucrative way of marketing. Now, whether you're doing a product or a service, it may also be a factor to take into consideration. So this is my take. I'm not saying that it's true, but this is from just what I see. Whenever you're offering a service out, usually print marketing kind of takes over. Either print marketing and word of mouth just trumps over any amount of ad spend that you can spend, right? So if you're selling a product, then getting as many eyeballs to your product as possible then will probably make more sense, because the more people have the chance of actually converting into customers. So that makes sense. But when it comes to a service, when it comes to something that requires any type of labor, I do believe that print marketing kind of trumps over that. That's my take on that. You guys let me know what you think. And moving on, you guys, just want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing with the videos, with the visuals, the graphics, and the way of storytelling, just let me know. It'd be great to get your feedback. And stay tuned for the horizon. We have a lot of special guests, a lot of topics that we're going to cover. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. And just a quick favor to ask, if you could share this out with anybody that you think might gain any value from this, or anybody that might benefit from listening, that would be the greatest thing in the world. And apart from that, let's get back to it. Let me give you guys some free game that I've been kind of learning throughout the learning journey. So if you decide to follow me on Twitter, it's Ricardo Vargas on Twitter, you'll see some tweets that I give out, which are just kind of thoughts that I have in my head, kind of like main canon points, right? So whenever I have something figured out, I just kind of tweet it out, and just if someone sees it, great. If they get value out of it, great. But I do think that these tweets will eventually convert into a future project, which who knows what it's going to be. I know one of the first tweets that I tweeted out was this: great businesses are built on systems and processes. Without these, you'll never be able to scale, grow, and pass on responsibilities to your team. You will be working a job, not running a business. This is a popular misconception that goes around in the entrepreneurship kind of small business field. People will quit to start a business, right? But what do you define as a business, right? So my definition of business is to work on something, not work in something. Now, there's a big difference. When you work in a business, you are part of the day-to-day operations. You are a leader in the operations. And without you being there, that business will not run. That business is not functional. It does not have two legs. It cannot stand up on its own if you're not there. So if you decide to, for some reason, you get injured, you go to the hospital, that business kind of just falls apart. The opposite is for if you work on the business, right? So a successful business owner is determined by the value that he gives to the business that he runs. A business owner that works in the business his value can only be determined by the direct revenue that he produces, right? And that's produced through his labor, which if he didn't, do any labor, then he does not provide any value to the business. You get what I'm saying? So someone that works on the business produces value in some other way than just direct labor, whether that's, focusing on hiring, focusing on the marketing aspect, focusing more on the sales part, focusing on more on building teams, building a leadership, building a culture behind their business and their whole operations. That is value that will eventually compound over time and over the years. It will just shoot up to the moon, right? Rather than you being stuck labor. Working in the business kind of looks like this, year one, year two, and then like year three kind of plateaus, and then year four kind of does like this, right? And it kind of just does that over time. In with due time, you will get to where you want to be, right? But working on the business does not come without passing on responsibilities down to your team, right? And delegation is something that a lot of owners struggle. And I believe it's more of an ego and trust issues thing than anything else. Let me explain why. Whoever you train and whoever is the one that's going to eventually replace you will never do the job as good as you, simply because they are not you. You probably figured out throughout time how to do it the most efficient way possible, how to do it the fastest way possible. And you have your tips, tricks, and all of this that even if you pass down, some of it will get lost just because we're human. We're human. We're not perfect machines. We're humans and we make errors, right? So out of 100% of the things that you teach that person, they will keep around, like if it's a good person, it'll keep around 75. If it's an all-star player, maybe like 90%, but never 100%, right? So always account for that 10% loss and just make sure that you drive home the main points of your training and the main points of whatever you're delegating down to the person, right? And when you start delegating out all these different aspects of the business, the operations, the marketing, the sales, the hiring, the firing, all of this, once it starts delegating out and you just become a leader in your business, that's when you transfer from working in the business and working on the business. And that kind of growth looks something like this. First year working on the business, it's like this, you don't see much change at first. And then around year 3, you see this, and then year 4, and then year 5, and then that's a hockey stick. A hockey stick is what you want for your business, right? Eventually it will plateau, and that's kind of where expansion and a different location and all of this comes into play. Sometimes it happens relatively fast, depending on your market, depending on what your business you are, and so on and so forth. But that hockey stick graph is kind of what happens when you successfully transferred and delegated all of the minutia and all of the main roles of your business down to your managers, your general managers, and so on and so forth, right? And that's when your growth starts to compound. That's when you start seeing your owner distributions compound over, and that's when you start seeing real wealth start to accumulate, right? And that's when your business start being worth something, right? So that's kind of what you want to get to. Once you get to that point in your business career, business goal, you can believe that you have fully passed level 1 of this entrepreneurship journey. And that's when you've officially graduated the business academy. I like to think of it like that. You've finally graduated. You've learned the basic core elements of business. Now, one important thing that kind of goes with this whole delegation thing is systems and processes. Now, systems and processes are kind of what the glue that holds your business together, right? So apart from delegating and all of this, you need to put everything in, documents, training videos, set up SOPs, standard operating procedures, and all of this is part of training down and delegating it to other people, right? So they kind of go hand in hand. You can't do one without doing the other eventually. But these systems, the sales scripts or logging all different types of ad copy, figuring out a system for capturing media for your advertisements and just for your website overall, and then figuring out point of when someone gives you a call to the point of making the sale, all of that systems need to be recorded and need to be stored, and it needs to be simple enough so that anyone that comes in can automatically, start making sales for your business, right? So that those systems and processes are what you're aiming for. Make it as simple as possible while not losing, obviously, the core points of it. Once you figure those two out, the delegation and the system processes, you will reach business owner status, and you will have a money making machine that will not only help fund whatever your next venture is, it will lead you to financial stability, financial freedom, and just, overall happiness. Because, I mean, let's face it, everybody will be a little bit happy without all the stress, all the financial stress that people have nowadays, right? So that's kind of my goal. Like, everything that I'm telling you is things that I'm aiming for and things that I'm continuously working on. Like I said, part of the journey, sharing my experiences, lessons, and sharing my mistakes. And this is one of the main lessons that I learned throughout this like year and a half into business, right? And if you made it this far, thank you very much for listening to this little mixed clip situation. If you guys like it, let me know. We do have special guests coming up really, really soon. Stay tuned for that. And, this is Ricardo Vargas. Thank you very much for listening, watching this. If you're watching, thank you very much for watching, for your attention. And we'll catch you guys later.